weeks ago, and we also shared some information on our social media channels, but something that I'd like to open up even more with you. And this topic has to do with a new partnership that Corsair has formed with one of the largest oil, gas, and petrochemical companies in the world. This company and this collaboration is similar in size and similar in capacity and magnitude than the partnership that we formed with Shell in 2024. Now, this has actually already been an agreement that's been in the making for quite some time. And oftentimes, especially when we are dealing with major international companies, like in this case, before we are allowed to go out and make a public statement, we have to pass, and it needs some time. So we have to pass certain steps, and also there's a lot of things that have to be passed in terms of decisions in publications, PR, communications, and so on, before we can make a full press release. But we decided that this would be already now a good time to share the information with you, because we are set to begin deliveries of pyrolysis oil to this new offtake partner now in the month of July. So there is very few companies in the world that are in the same level as Shell would be. And we will be, hopefully later this year, able to release a joint press release where we will then be able to publicize the name of this offtake partner. But basically what we have done is we have done a multi-year agreement where this oil, gas, petrochemical giant will now begin to buy Corsair's pyrolysis oil, beginning from our factory here in Thailand, delivered to their facility here in Asia, now in the beginning of July. Again, this just goes to show the level that we are currently operating in when it comes to the oil, gas, and petrochemical industry. And we are very, very delighted and very happy to say that we are dealing with the best and the biggest in the world when it comes to this market. Now, talking about pyrolysis oil, I'm also very happy to share with you for the first time today that the latest 3 machines that we have had delivered and installed into our Bangkok facility has now been fully installed. They have completed and passed their test runs, and they are now operational. We just last week completed the last of the test runs. There is still some painting work to be done and polishing and things of that sort, but I'm very happy to share with you that all 3 machines have successfully passed the piloting stage and have already now started producing first liters of pyrolysis oil from plastic waste. We're very happy to see the quality of the oil, which of course we all expect to be among the best in the world, in a way how Corsair is known for. But this is a very important step. Again, now this will contribute into the expansion of our production. And as you see from all of our actions, we never stop moving, we never stop developing, we never stop growing, and we never stop making our processes better. Now, what I'm sharing with you here, again, this will look much better when it has some paint on it and it's been touched up. And after the installation, the machines, they need a little love. But most importantly, what we are interested about is that the machines are now producing oil. So again, I believe a great achievement from the entire Corsair team. Now, without going too much into world politics, I do want to address the topic of the oil crisis and the energy crisis situation that we are now seeing taking place and generated in the Middle East. Now, I have been receiving a lot of questions from many of you asking how is this situation in Middle East with the blockage of the oil shipments? How is that impacting Corsair? Is this good for us? Is this bad for us? What is going to happen? Now, what is quite interesting and what people tend to forget is that when you hear that there is a shortage of fuel, that is correct, but it's only half of the situation. Because while the oil shipments from the Middle East are at the moment closed, blocked mostly, I know that there are a few boats that have been going through, but basically the oil shipments are now blocked in the Middle East. And that is causing major issues for the fuel markets, but also it is causing major issues for the petrochemical and the packaging industry. We've already seen articles, even here in Thailand, on the news, where the package manufacturers are complaining that they don't have enough raw material to produce all of this plastic packaging which is needed for the daily lives of the people. So it's not only that we're seeing shortage on energy and fuel, this situation is causing shortages for anything to do with crude oil, including the petrochemical industry and the packaging manufacturers. Now, because of this situation, we as a company are becoming strategically important for any country where we are located. Because think about it, we as a company are in a situation where we are able to take other people's garbage and turn it into pyrolysis oil, which could be used to make fuels in a state of emergency, but most importantly, can be used to make the sustainable, more environmentally friendlier packaging that the world already so desperately needs. But in the times of crisis like this, we can see the demand for our product to grow even more. And while the situation is unfortunate, we can say that we fortunately are on the right side of this crisis and are actually set to benefit from this. This just goes to show you again the uniqueness of our business model and how special we are as a company and as a business and as a community, where even with a global crisis like the one happening at the moment in the Middle East, we as a company can benefit from this crisis, where our product is becoming even more valuable and even more sought after. Now, we of course hope that the situation will settle down and there will be peace and this situation doesn't escalate any further. But it is opening at the same time interesting opportunities. And I think that not only are we, of course, being in the oil business, benefiting from the higher market rates, but also what we are seeing is that a lot of investments that have earlier been allocated or earmarked to be sent to the Middle East, to places like the United Arab Emirates or Dubai and such, are now on a standstill, have been frozen. And places like Southeast Asia, especially Thailand, is becoming very, very interesting for international investors and financial institutions to invest into. So I think that this crisis will further strengthen our position on the market and also present several new opportunities that we are looking to explore. I'm also happy to tell you that the work in Finland keeps progressing, and we are now at a stage where we are scheduled to begin the very first deliveries of pyrolysis oil from the Finnish factory to our off-taker Shell in the Netherlands during this second quarter of this year. So basically within the next 3 months, we are very much working forward for this. The team in Finland and in Europe has done a tremendous job to actually get us to this point. And we will, of course, share with you as soon as we can information when the first shipment is on its way. But we can expect that to happen during this quarter. Also, I'd like to share with you an update regarding the Sri Lankan development. We are set to begin construction in Sri Lanka within the month of April. So this will be a very, very productive, very busy next 30 days that we are seeing for the company in many ways. Oil production now increasing in Thailand, us moving towards commercial operations in Finland, and also our project development team starting with the actual physical construction and project development in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, of course, for us is a very important and a great expansion for our operations, where we have one of the largest companies in the country, a company called LOLC, as our local partner. And we already have an existing building where the new machines will now be installed after some development work that will be done to prepare that factory for the operations. So this work will begin on the month of April as well. Now, I will be back to share with you some more updates shortly. But in the meantime, what I'd like to do is I would like to hand over the microphone for Mr. Wayne Dobson, the Chief Information Officer and co-founder of Corsair Group, who is going to share with you some very interesting and exciting news about the Corsair Connect operations, as well as regarding the next steps for CSR. I will also expand some of these topics after Wayne, but he will do and have the honor to share with you these updates first. Wayne, can you hear me? Are you good?
I'm here. Everybody got me?
Yes, thank you, Wayne. We can hear you.
Okay. Well, I wanted to start by saying congratulations to everybody being on the call. Over 700 people here tonight, this morning here for us in Thailand. Today is the end of the first month of Corsair Connect, our new platform. It's stabilized very well. I'd like to thank everybody for all the great comments that I've had during the month as we've transitioned from the legacy platform through to Corsair Connect. I think it's important, first of all, for me to bring some news to you regarding that legacy platform, that Amplivo platform. As many of you will be aware that you can now log on to that platform using your old credentials and access all of your old invoices, old purchase data, etc. We're going to keep that platform alive until the end of May. So please take the opportunity to log on to the platform and recover any data that's important to you. At the end of May, we'll retire that platform permanently. No data will be available from that point onwards. We will not have it to give you. So please don't come to me in June, July, August and ask me for an invoice for 2024, 2025. I simply will not be able to do that. So everybody, please take the opportunity to get all of your legacy data recovered from the Amplivo platform. Now, much of that history has already been transitioned to Corsair Connect to allow you to utilize that platform in a very robust way and perform your business better than you did before. And we're going to continue driving that forwards. Many of you use Milo to help you use the platform on a daily basis, and we're improving that platform every day. It gets a new, fresh update once a week. And we'd encourage you to continue using that because we use the data from your interactions to help us build a better Milo to help you as a community. So thank you all for your patience as you're allowing Milo to be trained and know what you need from it. It's really a great move forwards. Now, everything is not just about the platform. There are some things to do with our community which are really off platform, but are really important. And one of those things is regarding compliance and how we move forwards with our token and its various technologies. You've all seen that we have, from a couple of weeks ago, the opportunity to deposit onto the platform using USDC. That's something people have been asking for a long time, and it's now available. At the same time, we announced that we would introduce USDC withdrawals. I'm delighted to announce that is also live as of now. So both USDC and USDT are available on the platform. To take that one stage further and move forward with this compliance concept, we're moving away from the USDT in terms of the trading on our exchanges. So as of tomorrow, around 3 p.m. CET, the trading pair will switch from USDT to USDC for all three of the plastic credits. That's CSR, CSR25, and CSR26. And that really allows us to step forwards in lots of other areas across Europe and across the world. So watch out for that happening tomorrow on LBank. One of the things that's opening up for us is the opportunity to drive forward something we've spoken about for some time, which is the idea of the 50-50 contribution from Corsair for people who want to retire plastic credit. We're going to call this a thing called impact matching, and it will go live most probably tomorrow, but certainly this week. What will happen is you'll be able to go to your list of retirements, select any retirement from the launch date of this campaign, which will be the 1st of April, tomorrow. Any retirement you carry on from tomorrow, you'll be able to select it and then identify a matching amount of plastic waste removal services that have also taken place from that same date, from the 1st of April. And we will accelerate the delivery of the CSR26 associated with that purchase. So as an example, if somebody retires 1,000 CSR tomorrow and also purchases a plastic waste removal service, which would generate over time 1,000 CSR26. Normally that would take a long time for us to carry out that work and deliver that CSR26. But companies and individuals want to see that happen quicker. And this campaign will allow you to be able to select that service and have those CSR 26 delivered within 14 days. Your obligation would be to retire that matching amount of CSR. So you'll get 2,000 CSR retired, where 1,000 has come from the exchange and 1,000 from a purchase of plastic waste removal directly from the company. We think this is a really exciting time to show how we can move forward and double everybody's impact to help us clean the planet of plastic waste. There are a few other updates that we've spoken about. We've spoken about the idea of member-to-member connect. That will be launched sometime during April. I'm not giving an exact date at this time. And also, there's the task management facility where you can manage your daily processes within Corsair Connect. That also will be rolled out sometime during April, is our expectation. And these are major updates to the platform, really enabling you to use the platform not just as a reporting tool and as a shop, but as a tool to help you run your business and grow your network. The fact that we've now got this, our own platform from within Corsair, means it opens the door for lots and lots of expansion as we move through this year. And I'm very sure you're going to be really excited as we carry on growing and building the facilities that are needed within the platform to help you grow, help us grow, and help us clean the planet. So with that, I'm going to close off and hand back to Jay. Jay's got some more really exciting news for you to consume in a few moments. But once again, thank you everybody for being on the call. It's really great to see you all here, and I look forward to seeing you on these more regular calls as we move through the rest of the year. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jay.
Great. Thank you very much, Wayne. Great work again. And I'm sure I speak for all of us when I say that the platform, the new Corsair Connect back office is working great. And obviously to go from the old platform to the new without having any major issues, no crashing, no big bugs, no anything, is a major achievement. So the guys in the IT team led by Wayne really did a great job. And again, we continue to welcome your feedback. We're very happy to develop the system. This is something that will continue to be upgraded, and we can add functions there, whatever is needed to make your work with Corsair Connect as easy and efficient as possible. Okay? Now, I understand that there was Italian translation missing for the moment, so I'll just explain a little bit more about what Wayne just shared with us. First of all, regarding the USDT. So as Wayne was shared with us, starting from tomorrow, the trading pair for CSR plastic credits on L-Bank will change from USDT to USDC. Okay? That means that the new trading pairs will be all tied to the USDC instead of USDT. And as Wayne said, also now withdrawals of commissions are available both in USDT and USDC. But this trading and using USDC instead of USDT allows us to be better equipped for the European regulations. And this is extremely important when we move forward, as Wayne explained, regarding this 50-50 arrangement or the impact matching. The whole process of the impact matching is really aimed for companies that want to make an impact immediately by offsetting their plastic waste footprint. Now, Wayne gave you the basic framework. Let me explain to you a little bit more about why we want to do this, what is the reasoning behind it, and then more practical example how this is going to work. So we all understand that the end result where we all want to be is that more and more companies are coming involved to utilize the CSR plastic credits. And as we are from the Corsair corporate side introducing companies, some of them very large companies for CSR, until today, there hasn't really been an incentive for you as a Corsair Connect partner to introduce your companies, the business owners that you know, the companies that you are associated with, into the CSR platform. For a company who uses plastic as a part of their packaging, let's say, for example, this company right here, they use plastic to distribute the drinking water for their clients. Now, the company who learns about Corsair, our operations, and the CSR plastic credits, they would, of course, like to be able to utilize that benefit right away. And as you know, as part of our plastic waste removal service, there is the time period during which time the work will be completed. And when we sell the plastic waste removal service, Corsair reserves the time to go out as our own operations and also working with our contributing partners to go out and collect that plastic from the environment. That's a physical work that takes time. But many times these companies would like to get the benefit today. They would like to become plastic neutral right now. They don't want to wait until the end of the year or even next year to receive their credits. They'd like to do it today. So how can we make a combination where we can help the companies to get the credits right away? That's point number one. Point number two, how do we bring those companies to the market to create more demand and liquidity for the CSR plastic credit market, which again benefits everybody and is the end goal where we are all working towards? How can we speed up that process even further? The way to do that is by having the Corsair Connect partners to introduce companies to CSR plastic credits. Now, the challenge is that when you as a partner introduce a company for CSR, and if that company wants to get the plastic credits immediately, the only way for them to do that is by going to the exchange, to the open market, and buy them from there. In this situation, there is no commissions generated because the money doesn't come to Corsair. The money goes to whoever is letting go of their CSR plastic credits on the open markets. So how can we create a combination where the Corsair Connect partner will make commissions by introducing companies, while the companies will be able to get the CSR plastic credits right away, and also have a solution which would benefit the entire global market of CSR plastic credits? This is where the impact matching, the so-called 50-50 arrangement, will now come into effect. We are going to try this for the next 3 months, and we're going to see how it works. We might stop it 3 months from now. If the results are not satisfactory, we might modify it. But for the next 3 months, we are going to try out and see how the market adapts into this process. Let me explain to you what it means. In practical sense, it means that you as a partner can now introduce a company that you are connected with. Maybe it's your family member who owns the company, or maybe you know a company. These are primarily intended to be small and medium-sized companies. any larger corporations, it's important that you bring in the Corsair corporate team into the discussion as well. So talk to your upline, talk to your top leaders, your 6 stars about larger companies that you might have connections with, because we can help to close that deal and do it in a proper way. But for you to start with, what you are able to do is you're able to introduce the 50-50 arrangement for a company or a business that you know, where that company will buy a plastic waste removal service from you for 50% of the needed plastic credits. For example, if a company would need to offset, for example, 100,000 kilos of plastic waste, which would normally result in 1 million CSR plastic credits. That company can buy from you the CSR plastic waste removal service, and then after completing that purchase, they can go to the open markets, or you can help them to receive additional 50%, either from you or from the open markets, wherever they come from, which they would then continue to retire as well. You can do this either way: buy the service first or buy credits directly from the open exchanges first. Once, as Wayne explained, we can see the retirement of the credits purchased from the open markets, we will fast track the distribution of the credits which are associated to that plastic waste removal service, representing 50% of their need. Okay? And trust me, guys, this will be very simple moving onwards, but it's important that we break it down as detailed as possible. So in other words, a company that wants to become plastic neutral today would acquire 50% of their needed CSR plastic credits, which can be CSR, CSR 25 or CSR 26, from the exchange, retire those credits, and once they can show that retirement, they can now receive a fast-track process for additional equal amount once they have purchased the plastic waste removal service. In this way, they get the outcome of the offset all done for them at a very fast scale, as Wayne mentioned, within 14 days. And now the company that wants to offset, for example, now this 100,000 kilos of plastic waste can do that without having to wait for the entire distribution period. We will, from our side, always keep a buffer of enough credits in disposal so that we can fast track them. And in the next 3 months, we will be able to see any adjustments that we need to make for the campaign, but this will allow now for you as an Corsair Connect partner to actually receive commissions on the introductions of the service for the companies as well. Make sense? Okay. We'll have this explained also in a very simple way, but now you know the detailed version of it as well. Additionally, we are going to introduce gateways to manage this process for companies. So if you feel a little bit insecure of introducing this for a company, and sometimes the companies don't want to go and open up their own digital asset wallet, or they don't want to go to the exchange to buy plastic credits from there, we are going to have now gateways, basically European located coordinators who are licensed to operate in this field that can process this entire process for your client. So if you have a company that you bring in as a client and you sell them the plastic waste removal service for the 50% that they need, one of these gateways, one of these coordinators can help to manage the other 50%. And it will be done in a way where the client will simply receive an invoice, and they will be now able to pay the invoice with a little handling fee. And now this entire retirement and the purchase of the credits from the market will now be done for them by a licensed operator that is licensed to operate such process within the European Union area. More of this will be shared within this week as well. Now, why is this so important? It's very important because we are clearly seeing now more and more regulations starting to take effect during this year worldwide. Not only in Europe, but also here in Asia, in North America, different parts of the world. Governments are now moving forward, and the extended producer responsibility requirements are becoming part of the daily business for companies around the world. This means that this year, 2026, we're starting to see more and more and more demand from a wider scale of companies and industries that are going to have to, by law, start taking responsibility of their plastic waste footprint. And therefore, we at Corsair and we at Corsair Connect as a community are again perfectly aligned to response for that demand. That's why this 50-50 arrangement or the impact matching is very important, and we're excited to see its results in the coming weeks and months. Now, I'd like to also share with you that this transition process from Amplivo to Corsair Connect, as of today, is about 75% completed. Even in my mind, you see, I slipped in the Amplivo there, so I need that extra 25%, and then I'll never mention that again. But we have done a lot of work, as Wayne explained, with the back office, with all the structuring that has been done with new companies, and so on and so on. There's a lot of work that has been taking place to get us where we are today. And I believe that within this month of April, we are going to reach the full transition into where we want to be with Corsair Connect. That means also introducing now additional payment platforms, payment systems. We have a lot of things happening during this coming month when it comes to compensation plan, development and improvements, and all of those things that you see us working with. But again, just to add up the things that we spoke here today, like for example now, more production happening in Thailand with new machines being brought into operations. Finland now starting its first oil shipments in this quarter. So many things happening. New machines coming to Thailand. Development starting in Sri Lanka. So many other locations where we are expanding right now. So therefore, we are going to continue with our habit for this year is that we are going to have another global call again at the end of April. But before that, in the middle of the month, there is also going to be the Corsair Connect community call, which will take place on Monday, the 13th of April, so 2 weeks from now, at 8 p.m. CET. There will be, again, your top leaders of the Corsair Connect company will be there to train you, provide for you amazing knowledge about how to succeed with this business. And I will also be there to give another sort of a half-month update for you as well. But a lot of things happening. Now, I wanted to also bring more information for you about another important element of development. And this has to do with robotics. Now, we as a company are always looking at what is happening in the world, what is the next curve, what is the next wave, and what are the latest developments on technology that we can utilize and bring to our business to make our operations even more efficient. As you might have seen from social media, there's a lot of development that has happened recently in the area of humanoid robots. Basically, different types of human-like robots that are able to now do different type of work, washing dishes, helping with laundry, carrying items, organizing things in warehouses and such. Also, a lot of those technologies are used in modern warfare, which is an area which hopefully will not become the main area of development, but we can say that overall robotics, and especially the human-like humanoid robots, is definitely the future. Now, I'm happy to share with you that Corsair has now started the negotiations with all major humanoid robot manufacturers. And we are in a process of putting together a pilot project here in Thailand, still within this year. This basically means that we are going to begin to implement and to introduce more advanced technologies, such as the humanoid robots, into the Corsair waste management operations. What do I mean by that? Basically, what it means is that any kind of work which is dangerous, dirty, uncomfortable, something that you wouldn't like your mother or your daughter or your son or your father or anybody that you care about have to do. Like, for example, go to the landfills and start picking up plastic waste from other people's garbage. These are the types of work that no human being should be doing. And while we are always looking to generate jobs and earning opportunities for people around the world, that's not the type of jobs and earning opportunities we're talking about. Picking up waste, picking up plastics and such. This is the type of work that should be done by robots that can work basically around the clock. They have to be charged, but in theory, they can work 24/7 without sick leaves and without us having to worry about their well-being, except putting some oil into their joints to make sure that they keep picking the plastic in the best possible way. With this development, we are expected to increase efficiency, productivity, and profitability of all of our factories and the future development of Corsair as we are moving into the future. Personally, I see a future where all of the dirty, sort of dangerous, any type of activity which is not really suitable for humans, which is not contributing work, or something that people are excited to be part of, like picking plastic, should be done by robots. And as mentioned earlier, we are looking to formulate and put together a pilot project this year where we could start implementing first of these robots in our facilities and starting to work side by side along with our Corsair human team. Hopefully in the future, we'll have robots all over the world that are doing all of that dirty work, and we can bring in people to do the work that we are very passionate about, where we can truly contribute into cleaning our planet from plastic pollution. Now, as we are talking about the next stages, I'd also like to share with you the following dates, which we are currently putting together for our European spring events. As of right now, we are looking at confirming the location and the time for an event in Helsinki, which will be a Northern European event on Saturday, the 30th of May, and another event in Milan, in Italy, on Saturday, the 6th of June. Of course, at the moment, because of the situation in the Middle East and the impact on traveling, on flights, on fuel, we have to, again, keep an eye on how things will develop. But if we do not see any major disruption on traveling, we are going to lock in the dates and lock in the venues with you in the next 2 weeks. But please mark these dates. If you are in the northern part of Europe, we would like to welcome you to Finland, to Helsinki, where we will also organize visits to the Kaipola Finland factory to see our operations there. And then 1 week after in Italy, in Milan, for the Southern European event. Before that, there will be a number of online calls, online events that we will continue to do, as there is so many things happening at this stage, as we are probably in one of the most busiest moments in the history of our company. Now, that being said, and we're just coming into full hour into our call, I truly, once again, want to thank each and every one of you for being part of this amazing journey. And as you can see with all of these developments, sometimes people ask me that, is there some major announcement coming? Well, back in the day, in the last couple of years, any one of these things that we mentioned here today would have been that one major announcement. Now today, we're also used to it that there is so much development happening with Corsair that they kind of feel more like updates. And that's good. We like it that way. But one thing is for sure, is that we are just getting started. We are picking up more and more speed. We are putting a lot of effort in communication, which is another area that we want to improve and develop a lot during this year, to make sure that you have all the latest information in your hand to make the best out of the Corsair Connect business. The timing couldn't be better. Inflation increasing all over the world means that living expenses are going up. People need an extra income. And we have the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to save our planet, clean our planet from this plastic pollution while working from the convenience of our home and being part of this amazing business opportunity, which even with one of the largest global crises happening at this very moment is actually beneficial for our business. The reality is that people are going to need extra money, which makes, as we've seen in the history, every time when there is an economic downturn, there is a recession or crisis, direct sales, network marketing, industry will always grow. This is the moment where people will need that extra income to cover the increasing living expenses. There's not a better time to go out and introduce our business opportunity for everybody that you know. On top of that, the regulations in Europe, North America, all over the world are coming into play. And again, everything that we're doing with the CSR plastic credits is perfectly aligned to meet those requirements, where companies are no longer just asked, they are required to take responsibility of their plastic waste. We have the solution for them. And now you as a Corsair Connect partner can also make money while introducing that solution to those companies. And last but not least, it is an interesting time to be in the oil business, ladies and gentlemen. We don't hope any kind of escalation of the Middle Eastern situation, but keep in mind that every time when you see an article that the gas prices are going up, that's good for our company. And as you continue to advance with your Star Rank career program, you are becoming a shareholder, a larger and larger shareholder in the company. With the robotics and the future and implementing the latest technologies, our company will become even more valuable in the future. That's what we are building here, ladies and gentlemen. So I truly want to thank each and every one of you once again for being on this call. Thank you for being on this journey with us. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Monday, the 14th of April, and the Corsair Connect community call. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening and great week. Thank you. Bye-bye.